Hey, how's it going? Today I got an Abumatic 150 and I was going to do a video on how to take it apart. So this is a Swedish made reel, probably around 1970-ish, so probably at least 50 years old. These different models, there's like a 145, a 155, which are very rare, and a 170, which are all very similar to this, and they all have oscillating spools and stuff. And this one is pretty heavy. It's a fairly large reel. It's probably designed for like 10-pound line, 10 or 12. It's really, really good reel. It's probably, you don't see this kind of quality anymore in spin cast reels. And this is one of my favorite reels, but one of my least favorite ones to take apart. So this one's a bit challenging. So let's give it a shot. So the first thing to do is just quarter turn, take off the front cover. It has the says Abumatic 150 there. And here's the spinner head. You can see there's only one pickup pin. There's two holes. I'm not sure why. Maybe some models had two. But you can definitely, if you had an extra spinner head kicking around, you can definitely put one in there for sure to have two. So that's good weight to that. That's nice stainless steel, nice hard rubber line stopper here, and it's held up really well over all these years. So here's your spool. You can see that spool moves up and down. So to get the spool off, you just do quarter of a turn clockwise, and that comes off. So that's all aluminum. You get your two little catches here that catch on this plate. That's your mechanism there. And your drag on this one is right here. So you could use that with like a coin or a screwdriver, even by hand. And this has a synchro drag on it. So what happens is that when you set your drag, if you go back, when you turn backwards like a quarter turn, it puts it on half drag, and then when you go back, you get back to full drag. Just kind of unusual, but that's just the way they made it. So let's start by taking these two side plate screws off. These are two flat heads. There's one. This whole body, by the way, is all aluminum. I think it's aluminum anyway. So here's your two screws. They're the same size, and you can just take your front plate off, your side cover off. And there's your thumb button. So there's a look inside. There's your, that weight is that crosswind, your crosswind block. So to go from here, what you need to do, just two little C-clips right there and there, and they're very small. So that's one. You see it there. These are pretty hard to get back on sometimes. So then you can let me see now. It's been a while since I've done one of these. So now you can pull. Maybe not. Oh, you just pull that off from the front. And let me see. Okay, so you just unscrew this front part here. And that's got a little retaining ring on here. So So we set that aside. So here's your crosswind shaft and block. And your pinion gear just slides out like that. Okay, so far so good. So it's not too bad so far, but this is where it gets kind of tricky. So the first thing I'm going to do is take off this nut right here. That end cap, and you got this big nut. So that one comes off. And you can get your handle off. This collar right here. That. Set that down for a sec. So in here you have your drag, sort of your drag tensioner here. So you have two tiny washers and this little spring. So you put a washer in, spring, and another washer. So I'm going to set that aside. This one's totally different than the way a lot of reels are made. That shaft comes out. There's a drag washer right there. There's your main gear, nice brass gear, really nice quality. Set that here. Here's another part of your drag right here. And you got this shaft. And in here is just a gear, and your anti-reverse is right. Get that shine in there. Here's your anti-reverse dock is right there. So let me see. We should take this off. Yeah, so you got two tiny screws in there. One. This says two. And this can push off. Inside we got this little piece right here that just goes on top like that. Fits into little slots. And you have this little plate right here. So to get this back in, we're just going to put it in like that. Lay that back inside. This one has a totally different design than most other reels on the market that were made. I'm really not sure why they went this route, but I think they overcomplicated it. Except this is a frustrating reel to work on for sure. So let me get that back in place. just like this. You want to get that centered over that post. Line up that hole right there. Not sure how much as you can see, but just bear with me. Really having trouble getting that screw in place. A lot of small pieces here and a lot of things that got to line up. Okay, now I got it started. So I'm going to take this one. That one in here, and that just catches on the shoulder of that little arm there, bracket, whatever you want to call it. I think that's right, so we'll find out shortly. So we put this brass thing with the drag washer on it. We line that up with the two tabs, two ears. We got this shaft, put this in place. That's that little guy that fell out earlier. I put it back in. So it's going to line that up where it goes. This one will go in. Should we leave that for now? Main gear back in. Now, I guess that. So one washer. Lay that collar on top. This nut. Screw that on. Actually, before that, the handle. Yeah. At the handle. doing something wrong here. Maybe that goes on first. So let's try this. Tighten this up. Okay, that's correct as far as I can tell. Nope, it isn't. Something wrong there. That's not in the right slot. Nope. Okay, so sorry about the little interruption there. I ended up having this in the wrong sequence here, and this shaft here wasn't all the way into this gear. So I had to go back and fix that, and my battery died, so I had to, or not the battery died, sorry, the video stopped. So I got that in the right slot, and this is on the correct order. So it's the collar, the handle, this big nut, and then your drag tightening screw. So we got to that point. So that's all back, and the anti-reverse is working like it should, so that's correct. This reel is definitely a pain. So the next part is we're going to get this pinion gear through here, and this has to screw in to the frame here. So, and it's got 2 tabs that got to go on each side of that metal thing to keep it in place. So we'll try that. So the screws on, yeah, clockwise. So I'm going to get these 2 tabs, keep those in place. So that's what it looks like. That's just screwed on, and 2 tabs are one on each side. So next thing is to take this shaft. This shaft has a small diameter end and a big diameter end, and I believe it goes like that. But first we got to put that crosswind block on. Put that through here. Like I said, very frustrating reel to work on. So maybe that goes through the front. We'll try that. Nope, has to go through here. Let's try this again. It's on here. Maybe turn it so it's facing there. So like that, okay. So that's going through. And you take your oscillation plate, put that through the front, and that goes through both of these little posts here. And now you have to take these two tiny C-clips, so I just got these in some pliers. Push them and hold them in place. Yeah, this is really tricky. That's one in. Take the second one. Bent it a bit. Okay, just enough room to get the plier in there to put it back in place. So that's in. Now take your spool. That's working as it should. Take your front cover, and it just screws in. Screws back on like that. So everything is working as it should now. Spool is oscillating. Anti-reverse is working. You see that pin there is moving. That's because the handle is not in yet. So this little that little shaft is going to hit right there in that metal plate on your push button. So it goes just like just like that. Your side plate. Take one of your screws, one in. These are tricky too, because the hole is way in here and you got to sort of line it up. And it usually takes quite a few tries to get it in the right spot. And that's it. So that's back together. Everything's functioning really well. Side cover goes back on. Like I said, this is kind of beyond frustrating, really, to do a complete take apart on this reel. If you're working on, like, all the Abumatics from this time period are all, like, this whole thing in here is all the same on all of them. So if you do one, you can probably do them all and just get used to doing it and not even think about it. But trying to keep track of all these little parts and how they go and in which orders is not easy at all. And honestly, if you have this reel, you can just take your side plate off, and if it's working correctly, just douse the hell out of it with WD-40 inside and just put a little bit of oil in it. You don't need to take every single thing apart. But like I said, it's an amazing reel, but a real pain in the ass to work on. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.